Daily TV, the voice of the stone, the wind is sea. Dr. Susan Tatah, hold the line. Truth don't whisper, truth define. Live, live, live. Pan-African Daily, we are live. The wisdom, the voice, the fire we bring. Building the Africa, that's the thing. Who walks in front? We do. Whose story is this? It's true. From the cave to the cloud, from the soil to the star. Pan-African Daily, here we are. They saw the narrative, we bought it back. Changambaya on the counter attack. No filter, no fear, no foreign frame. Africa speaking our own name. Susan Tatah, holding mic. The past is present, the future's like this. Pan-African Daily TV. The truth, the voice, the way. Join us live.
Greetings everyone. Greetings to all of you that are joining Pan-African Daily TV this evening or this afternoon or this great morning, where you are still ready and stretching out there in Eastern Standard American Time. It should be about 11 a.m. or just a couple of minutes after 11 a.m. And I think most of you are still struggling. Here in Germany, we're already at 5 p.m. in the evening, 7 minutes after 5 p.m. So we want to invite you to this beautiful conversation, Happy in the Chi Power in Unity Conference, taking place in Chicago on July 24th to 26, 2026, right? I mean, we've been singing and drumming about this conference for the past 3 weeks now, and we've had guest speakers as Professor Baina Bello, who's been here recently. And now we have our second speaker, who is the almighty greatest spirit of Kemet, is right here with us. I mean, I've just been having a short conversation with the great, the one and the only. I mean, I had the possibility to meet him. I just don't even know how to describe him, right? You would find out for yourself. It's a combination of the physical and the spiritual and the everything that makes a combination of who we are. So having a very short conversation with him in the back studio, I get to understand Mfundishi is a title in the Kemetic spirituality. Mfundishi. Did you ever know that? And that's why I want to welcome you today to Pan-African Daily TV, one and only educational show that teaches us things that we've never known. I mean, we call people Mfundishi. When I was researching about the great one, his works, and I got a lot of Mfundishis, and I was like, wow. But today, the great one just told me Mfundishi actually is a title like a PhD, a doctorate, or anything in the Kemetic spirituality. Without wasting our time, because I know we have a lot to chew, we have a lot to learn, we have a lot to know, we have a lot of actions to do on this Pan-African Daily TV special guest conversation on Happy in the Chi in Chicago. You want to know how to be there, because there's just no way you cannot be there. You have to meet Mfundishi, the spirit one, the being that is in the present. You will have the opportunity to shake hands with the physical and spirit. You will have the opportunity, maybe if we are lucky, to get images with him together. And this is going to serve as one of the biggest historical legacies that your great-great-great-grandchildren would ever get to know about Kemet and the origin of who we are. Only at Happy in Chi are we going to get this luxury and this privilege to meet Mfundishi Jhutyms. Oh my God, the names. We have to also learn how we're going to be renaming ourselves and reclaiming identity through our names. So without wasting our time, please welcome His Highness and the great one in our midst today. And we are so thankful for the spirit and the powers that be, that we could have the great one in our midst today. Welcome, Mfundishi Jhutyms Hassan Salim. You're welcome to Pan-African.
Dua enter, it's an honor. Aminura nasut nature, atinura nebenank. De inu ank ujas and nevnev. Dua enter. Dua.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Wonderful. It is a pleasure and a pleasant to welcome you. And when we welcome our great ones for the first time in the Bantu and Tikari cultures of the people of the Bantu origins in the Bamenda, what we do is we rub our hands 3 times and then we clap. It's a symbol to welcome just the ones in our midst, the high priest. We don't call them by their titles or their names or just talk to them. We must, first of all, particularly us women, because that's the role. I know in the Western or theology or whatever, everything people are going to say, yeah, but why women or this and that? Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So, my great one, Mfundishi, what have you brought
Dua.
to
Thank you. It's an honor.
So, what news, what message do you have for us today?
Well, again, we're welcoming people to Chicago, Chi-Town, to this great Pan-African African Unity conference. It's a 3-day event. On Friday, I'll be taking people to the museum in Chicago to introduce them to the Quastille incense burner and and other African artifacts. But that's the main thing that I'll be highlighting is the Quastille incense burner. It is a artifact, a incense burner that was found in Quastille, which is in Sudan, which was ancient Kash, or people will say ancient Nubia, ancient Kash. Okay, and this shows that the culture of ancient Kemet, which you know is Egypt, was African, and that everything we see in Kemet came from up south in the interior of Africa, Sudan, Ethiopia, Uganda, the Congo, all the way in. And so the information traveled from the interior of Africa and from the west. At one time, the Sahara housed great African nations that were there. And as the Sahara dried up, those people migrated into the HAPI Valley and contributed to the contribution of the greatness of ancient Kemet. And so I'll be lecturing and talking about that. And I'm a teacher of the Madu Necha. That's what people call hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics is a Greek word meaning sacred writing. But our people, the Africans, called our language Madu Necha, which means divine words of the creator by an elder. Okay? Divine words of the creator by an elder. Wise words. And so the Madu Necha was the spoken language and it was the written language. Okay? And so that is important because when you start to read the Madu Necha, it's like our ancestors are talking to you directly. You don't have a European translator in between. You don't have somebody who just took hieroglyphics who don't understand the culture, because language is one of the best expressions of a culture. And this is a culture rooted to nature. All of the animals and things that you see in the Madu Necha are African in origins. Not from Asia, not from the Middle East, not from Europe. They are almost every symbol you see in the Madu Necha is African in origins, whether it's an animal or whether it's the people. Even the word face is an African face with a big wide nose and thick lips. That's the word face in the Madu Necha. I don't think Asians, Europeans, or anybody else would put an African face to mean face in their language. Okay, so I'm just trying to show you the beauty of that. But the Quastille incense burner is so powerful because it shows that the rulers in Kash wore the white crown that you see in Kemet. They had the pharaonic braided beard. They carried the kaka, and they had Haru, the great falcon, as a symbol of the king, just like in ancient Kemet. And so all the paraphernalia that we see that makes up the Kemetic culture of ancient Egypt was birthed in the Nile Valley, in the HAPI Valley, in Sudan, in Ethiopia, in the Uganda, Tanzania, the Congo, from the interior of Africa. And some of the oldest symbols that we see in Kemet, like the symbol of Ra with the dot, the circle with the dot in, or the Ankh, the key of life. And I usually always have one here that I can show people. I'm a Kemetic priest, so I usually, excuse me for fondling here just a little bit.
It's okay.
I usually don't leave the house without it, but that is the Ankh, the key of life. The feminine universe that brings all things into existence, the womb, the phallic, the base that holds and protects the feminine energy, the phallic and the male, universal masculine, and left and right, like you have left and right brain, the male and the female. This key of life brings existence into existence. So without the union of male and female in harmony with Ma'at, there is no continuation and there is no life. And so, if you ask more details, I know I had a HAPI show a couple of weeks ago, and Felicia accused me of giving them too much information on the instant. But she said, no, let them come so they can get all them. So I'm just whetting your appetite. But I will be thoroughly breaking down every piece, everything you see on that incense burner, and showing you how it's the origins of ancient Kemet, and that it is African, and this is the key. It's 300 to 500 years older than Narmer, who united Upper and Lower Kemet. And it was all already, so it shows you that the Medu Neter, the writing system of ancient Kemet, was already full-blown and used before Kemet even came into existence. And Kemet kind of inherited this greatness. Now they're finding things under the pyramids that go down 2 miles and stuff like. So it's showing you that we are only scratched the surface of what's going on in ancient Kemet. But it's an African origins. And it's hard for other people to figure that Black people could be this great this long ago, before Europe had even woken up. You have to understand, when the Crystal incense burner came into existence, there was no Greece, there was no Rome, there was no Germany, there was no England, there was no Russia. There was no organized city-state in any place in Europe or Asia when this came, when the Crystal incense burner was in existence. So I'm just trying to give people, there might have been little small satellite places all around, but no great nation. Kemet at this time was the greatest nation on the planet Earth that we know of.
Wow. Oh, I'm just like, just like Felicia. Hey, please. I'm like, you're whetting the appetite and everybody has to be there. There's just no reason. I'm just trying to pull up the flyer here. That's why you see me.
Night. I want people to know Saturday is actually the conference where you'll have a dozen so professors and experts in Pan-Africanism, or this part of the unity of African people. So some people are historians, some people are psychiatrists, some people are engineers, but you'll have the best of Africa coming at you on Saturday. You know, and the vendors, you'll have vendors there with their wares, all African cultural things on Saturday. And then Sunday is the banquet at noontime. So that's the 3 days. Friday, museum, and then maybe city tours, things of that nature. Saturday, the actual conference where all the lecturers is there with the vendors and speakers. And you can get HAPI paraphernalia and all of that type of stuff. And then on Sunday, it'll conclude with a banquet at noontime.
Actually, people, this is what we're talking about here. This is the HAPI in the Chi, Power in the Unity Conference, and Power in Unity Conference. I'm so sorry. So you can see all of us seated right here, conference location, like you said, you know, and you can see the great speakers. He's the third right here after Professor Baina Bello. That is Mfundishi, the great one. of Kemet, who is going to be lecturing to us at the museum. I'm also going to share the flyer from the HAPI about the museum, and he actually is just touching a little bit. We're also going to have, Continental's representative like King Maponga Joshua, who is already on the on the placard, as you can see. Oh my God! And Queen Efwa, I cannot wait. I'm going to be hosting her next to Mfundishi, and who is right here, Dr. Tatah. This is me. Wow! And I'm also, of course, it's an honor. Please get your ticket to be at the HAPI in the Chi. It's a place to be. There's just no place you want to spend your time this summer and be thankful that you made it actually out there. So this the you when we met at the HAPI in Brooklyn, and you had a whole lot of the symbols, and even like what you're putting, like this skull of the feminine skull that you have in you, and even your fabrics, every little thread and color and dots and signs are indications of something as a message. The idea of sculpture, spirituality, and the idea of symbolism, all what we carry, whether you call them our totems, or we also have the eye of the Ma'at right here sitting on you there, on you, or the queen, the eye of the universe. Oh my God, this is the God in the church, right? And
Right.
and so you hosted also an exhibition stand where people could take away these symbolisms as a remembrance and a memory. I'm beginning to try to just think that even at the museum, which is one of the biggest touristic attraction that we should go to, what is it that you think, or the visitors would be anticipating to see in that museum?
Yes. Well, one thing. See, we can talk about how great Africa was, but to see it, unfortunately, you won't be able to touch it because they pretty serious about the Philly touchy stuff. But you can see artifacts that go back 5,000, 6,000 years ago. And when you see it with your own eyes, you see that we were master architects of the world. The buildings that were done in ancient Kemet, many of them are still standing. So you have to understand there are buildings like the Wasarian and the complex at as Haru M. Aketi. That's what they call the Great Sphinx. But the Sphinx is a Greek word, has nothing to do with ancient Kemet. It's Haru M. Aketi. So we also have to take back our language. No pyramid, it's the Mirkut. It's no pharaoh, it's the Nasut Biti. There's no mummy, it's the Sahu. There's no casket or something like that. There's the Karas. We got to know the proper names. And Egyptologists learn these names just like I do, because it's written in Medu Neter. But they overlay their culture on top of it. So one of the good things about the tour is that as I read some of the little writings that they have on the artifacts, a lot of times they use the wrong terminology, and I'll be able to explain it correctly. I'll say, okay, they call this that, but that's not that. This is what that really is, and I can show. And then people will say, well, Mfundishi, how do you know? I'm the student of Dr. Yusuf bin Yakimin, Dr. Sinjeti, Dr. Theobinga. I'm the student of Dr. Leonard Jeffries. I traveled to Egypt over 9 times with Dr. Ben, who was the father of giving trips to ancient Kemet. I've been 40 times to Egypt, 40 trips to Egypt. I've been in every temple that they almost have. I've been inside of almost every pyramid, taking my own pictures, and sat at the feet of giants, people like Asa Hilliard, and all of them. And I'm the author of about 5 books, but one of my most famous ones is Spiritual Warriors Are Healers. This is about 700 pages in the volume. And if you're a Pan-Africanist or you love ancient Kemet, then you'll be calling this your Bible. I'm also the author. My latest 2 books is Mfundishi Jhutyms in the Spirit of the Magi. And look at that face. That's Mfundishi Jhutyms. He's the founder of the second golden age of ancient Kemet, the classical period. But you don't know nothing about him. You got PhDs and stuff, and you don't know nothing about one of the greatest rulers of ancient Kemet. And then my last book is volume 2 of that, where I talk about the Jedi. I know some of y'all, when you think of the Jedi, you think of Star Wars, and you think of, that comes from our ancient Kemet. The word magi was synonymous with soldier, warrior, leader, magistrate. So you must ask yourself, well, wait a minute, who are the people who are so honorable you only want them to be your judges? Who are the people that are so dynamic you only want them to be the protectors of the king? Who are the people that are so honorable, but they are the guardians of the eastern and western desert? They are the rangers. Yet at the same time, the word soldier and police became synonymous with the word magi. And the head of them were the Jedi. And so the person who invented Star Wars and all of that was a closet Egyptologist. So he took African phenomena and brought it to you, and you think it's from outer space. But it's right in Africa. The greatest of the Jedi is Yoda. Yoda is a Twa, or the San, Khoi, bush people who speak with the click, who can be found in southern, central, and eastern Africa. So, and I'll kind of go into detail. Those people who come, you'll get a chance to hear me talk. You'll get a chance me to do a presentation. But again, I just wanted you to know this is a passion. This is my life work. Like I said, I've been to Kemet over 40 times. And every time I go with my cup empty so that I can get more information. I don't go there like I know it all. I go there like, show me. So, I just wanted people just to get, I've been teaching the Medu Necha, Sister Riketti Amon in the Kemetic Institute. One of the co-founders there was my teacher in the Medu Necha in the early 80s. So I've been teaching since the 80s, this language, this culture. And I teach it from a symptomatic thought process, not just a symbolic. So you've been educated symbolically. Symbolic, it don't have to be the truth. It could be something I made up. And I don't have to prove it. You just take my word for it. Most religions are symbolic. They teach you to learn to believe in fairy tales. So now when somebody comes symptomatically that can show you proof that has facts, you question me, but you don't question fairy tales. So I'm trying to, show you how we've been programmed. So teaching something symptomatically. So when I teach the Medu Necha, and I still have classes now online, so maybe before this program is over, I'll teach you how to do that. They can go on my website, and I have classes in session. I have classes that I teach on my books, because the book is written in 3 of exoteric, and esoteric. It's written on several levels. So when you read it once, you haven't really read my book. If you haven't read it 3 times, now you're beginning to understand what I'm talking about. The folklore, the proverbs that I have in there, all ancient. And I've been doing this work. Like I said, I graduated from college in 1971 from Norfolk State University, and then I went to Rutgers University, and then the University of Dar es Salaam. So I've been doing this since I was a student of El Haj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X, at 14 years old. I'm the first youth organizer of the Organization of Afro-American Unity. So, at 15. And so, yes, I took that information back to New Jersey and formed an organization called Brands. We would tell the parents to have students line up, because we had over 50 students coming to our program every weekend. We would tell them that Brands meant black, ambitious, natural, and smooth. And so parents would sign their kids up, because everybody wanted to be black. Everybody wanted to be, ambitious, natural, and smooth. But it really meant Black revolutionaries for a new society. But I couldn't tell parents admit that, or they wouldn't let their kids join up. But once their kids joined up, then they knew that we were Pan-Africanists and that we weren't teaching hate, we weren't teaching anti-anybody, we were only teaching Black love. So kids had to learn history in the morning, Kiswahili, and martial arts. And then in the afternoon, they cleaned up their community, helped senior citizens shop and get around the community and things of that nature. So I got that from El Haj Malik El Shabazz, Brother Malcolm X. So, Dr. Tatah, any specific things that you want me to talk about? You know,
Everything that you're already speaking about is just I see Brother Secretary is saying we must definitely be revolutionaries because there's just no way. What do you think is the reason when people hear revolutionaries or revolution, they get scared?
yeah, they get
When
scared.
someone, even people, even Africans, when they see you dressed like this, carrying the skulls and being you, what do you think actually scares people the most?
Well, I'm gonna
Ignorance?
make a statement. Culture is your medicine. Anybody who don't understand their culture is going to be sick, suicidal, and be an instrument against their own people. Because if
Yes.
everybody practices a culture, who's living? So if you don't have your culture, that means you're practicing somebody else's culture, somebody else's standard of beauty, somebody else's standard of success. So I can remember most kids when I was coming up, their parents would tell them, get a good education. And what they meant by that was go to a nice white, get a white education, go to a nice white college, go to school with white people. You know, that was a good education. Get a good job, and get a good job didn't mean create your own. It meant work for Europeans, you know, and you know, and get money, you know. So those are not the things that a human being should be striving for. You want an education that depicts who you are and builds you. You want an education that helps fulfill your dreams and ambitions. Everybody has talent. Your education should be bringing out your talent. Yes, everybody should have some worth, some employment, but you should be working towards building your own. College should be showing you how to be the leader of your own business, not just to run somebody else's. Now, if you want to work with other people to get the experience, fine. But your main objective is not to work for somebody till you retire. Okay, so I just need people to understand it. So we've been miseducated. Carter G. Woodson wrote a book in 1931 called The Miseducation of the Negro. And in 1931, he said that sometimes our most educated people of African descent will be our new enslavers. Because you been a stamp approved by your enemy and you are pushing your enemy's program. And so we have to be careful, you know, we have to be careful there. So it's extremely important that we understand who we are. And then I have just a simple program. I say we are all visitors here to this planet because we are divine spiritual beings having a divine human experience. We come here to learn, to study, to share, and that's what you're doing right now, Dr. Tatah. You're sharing. We come to love, and then you come to protect all that you love. That's what a warrior really is. So my book called Spiritual Warriors Are Healers is that a warrior protects all that he loves. Other than that, if you're at war and you kill him, you're just a mercenary. You're just a hired killer. But if you're fighting to protect what you love, now you're a real warrior. And let me make this statement. There's an African proverb that says that warriorship is the foundation. I know as the Magi and the Jedi, they tell you the warriorship is the foundation of all males in your society. But they are female warriors also. He said, because if there's a conflict and you're just a farmer, you can't defend your nation. But if you're a warrior and a farmer, Now you can. So you're a warrior and a teacher, a warrior and a farmer, a warrior and a father, a warrior and a mother, a warrior and an engineer, a warrior and a warrior and a warrior and, but you have to have a warrior spirit because you have to protect all that you love. I know, just like we said, revolutionaries, see, and warriors are the ones that make a revolution happen.
Yes.
So, Dr. Tatah, because we're afraid of the word warrior and have no idea what it is, therefore we're afraid of the revolution because we're not prepared. Malcolm used to tell us the price of freedom is death. I'll say it again. I know that scares some people. The price of freedom is death. When your enemy know you'll do anything to get your freedom and you cannot be compromised, now he will negotiate with you or he will step aside. So that's a warrior spirit. Okay, so people are afraid of revolution because they know that a warrior has prepared their life towards this. They don't have discipline. I don't know how what the Africans are in Germany, but the Africans in America are some of the most undisciplined people on the planet. And so people who are undisciplined don't want to make sacrifices. To be a warrior, you got to make sacrifices, Dr. Tatah. You got to make sacrifices. You have to have goals. You have to have ambition. Our educational system doesn't teach us that. In fact, you know what's going on in here, America? They've discombobulated and breaking down almost all the African studies departments. They're making African studies almost illegal. We got states in America that it's illegal to teach Black history. There's states in America that say there was no slavery, that we just had indentured servants. And the reason why they're saying this, they say they don't want white people to feel bad. They don't want white children to feel uncomfortable. So the truth is uncomfortable. So we're just going to lie and distort the truth. In fact, we're not even going to mention the truth. We're making up a new truth. So whoever controls the situation defines the situation. So the Europeans in America who are in control are redefining the situation, and it has nothing to do with the truth. So because they scared of the word revolution, they made you scared of the revolution. So I hope I answered that.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I would just like us to take just a 10 seconds break, and I greet the audience who is right here, very active ones. But before I do that, I just want the audience to know this is what we're talking about today. We are here on the Happy in the Shy. I don't know, it's chi or shy, but it just means Chicago. And this is the Happy Power in Unity conference that is taking place from Friday, July 24th to Sunday, July 26th, 2026 in Chicago. The Duzable Black History Museum and Education Center. These are the conference locations. We also have the Malcolm X College is going to be one of the locations. Institute for the Study of Ancient Cultures Museum. The Study at University of Chicago Hotel. That's going to be the locations that we're going to be locating at. And the tours that would follow actually is exactly what Mfundishi has been talking about. On Friday, July 24th, is the tour of the ISAC Museum. I guess this is him. Happy reception and networking event at the Duzable Museum. So the Duzable Museum is the African American history. Now you can see on the board here, step into history. All right. Step into history. It means like step into yourself. So this conference is very, very important. We give tickets and we give also, like not just 100% that you have to pay for this ticket. We have special codes that when you get the code, you can get a reduction right now. We're calling on all of you to tell one, to tell one, to tell one, to tell one, every African to get their spot and be in SHE. in the She in Chicago. I will be there. Mfundishi would be there. Professor Baina would be there. Joshua Maponga would be there. All of us that you know that matters. Queen Efua would be there, and she's going to be the next guest here with us on Pan African Daily TV. Right. So we have some guests that have been very, very keen on what you've been saying, and we just want to greet them. This is Joyous Pretty Siali. She's watching us from the South Sudan. Yes, she's from the South Sudan. And we have Teresa. She says, Hotep and brightest greetings, Dr. Tata and Pudishi. And greetings to you, my queen. Greetings, Dr. Tata, BMS. Yes, brother, I greet you, Secretary. We've already been here a long time, and I've been seeing you ticking out and ticking in. Mafo is watching us. She's the cultural ambassador for Africa in Belgium. Yes, and very spontaneous and active, and the one that wants to also bring these kind of conferences to the AU, in the heart of the AU, just like you guys are doing this. So we also have our brother James Turner. Greetings, greetings. It's a long time. Hello, chat, and everyone that is in this chat. We also have the Buffalo Soldiers watching us live from Antigua in the Caribbean. Brother Jan Joseph is he has a movement called the Buffalo Soldiers, and he's always saying the ones that refused, the ones that always were on their bulls, they refused to integrate. Yeah, and we have our queens here, and this is Queen Sinovia, and she's also a queen on in the chat on Pan African Daily TV. We have our sister queen, also Cheryl. Cheryl is a girl from Brooklyn. I mean, we were at the HAPI conference and we took pictures. You will remember Cheryl. She was there. And we also we talked about Sikotere, and we have Guyana Initiative who is here also. I see some pepper and some good stuff here, Guyana. Do you want to tell us more about that? All right, we've been talking about Synovia, and we have Fabio. Fabio is right here, and he is the one that asked the question how he can register for the Kemetic classes. And I think he's connecting all the way from the Brazil here this afternoon. And yes, of course, I just said it. Much love from Brazil. Fabiano Oliveiro Souza said, how can he register? I'm also, I mean, there's going to be a lot of registration that day. Fabiano, join us. Just join us in the She, and you get every registration, everything. You're going to get access and access, right? All right. So Cheryl is also here. Kiana is here. Did I miss someone else? I don't think so. Oh, yes. We have a brother from Germany also here, Julius Tanto. He said, this is wisdom. When you work hard for someone, you might become all right. But when you work for yourself, your people will become wealthy. Great on sport. This that cannot just be different. And we have also, oh my God, he's a volunteer. We've been volunteering on Pan African Daily, and he's connecting from Bangladesh in the community out there in East Asian countries. He's connecting and watching us live here. And everyone is just excited to be a part of this. Did I miss somebody? Brother Ruth is greeting. We greet you to Brother Ruth. Elizabeth, we know you're here. And yes, so the show goes on. And like we said, oh, Miranda said, I'm watching also from South Africa. This is the queen of the Libala, and this is one of the greatest kingdoms in South Africa, and she's the queen right there, and she's watching us right here today. So we all in this chart, we all know that we are meeting in this conference in July. This is a couple of weeks. I hope you book your tickets already. You can already see us. The lineup is full. It's rich. I mean, Jabari Ozaze is going to be here. We also met in Detroit, in Brooklyn as well. And there's just going to be a happy time out there. Now, I would want to go back to studio to connect with a great one, because you said something that was so very important before most of our guests came here. And I would like us to say it again, because that's one of the reasons that you would not just wait. You're just going to go on board to get your ticket. Oh, and this is my father. Greetings from Belgium, Uncle Brown. Mr. Brown, salute to you here. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Thank you. So, Mfundishi, can you really just explain your names again, the two names?
Sure.
And what is a Kemetic priest? What is a Kemetic priest?
Okay.
And you said in the beginning, how, what is, I mean, of course, you said in the back room what a Kemetic priest was and why we should all understand these values that would drive us
All right.
forward.
I
Go ahead.
appreciate the question. I appreciate the question. So let me just explain my name. So Mfundishi is a title. It means great spiritual grandmaster, just like some people is doctor something or master something. So in our art, I am a practitioner of something called Kupagana and Gumi. I was a 8th degree master in Shaolin Hungar Kung Fu. And then I became a 10th degree, that's the highest you can go, a grandmaster in the African martial arts. African martial arts is older than the Asian martial arts or anybody else. On the walls at Beni Hassan in Egypt, you see friezes on the wall of Africans going through things that look like judo, things that look like jiu-jitsu, things that look like karate, things that look like kung fu. You see holes, throws, weapons, all of that on the walls of ancient Kemet over 2000 BCE. So that's before the first Shang dynasty in China. That's before there was the Persian Empire. That's before. So I belong to a society that's connected to that. And we call it Kupagani and Gumi, Pan-African Martial Arts Society. And we have titles in there. So when you become like a black equivalent to what people call a black belt, you become a fundi, which means in Swahili means one who has just mastered his craft. Then when you have been through that and you move up like 5 levels through your work, through your teachings and stuff like that, you become a malanga, which is also the word for a master. So now you have mastered, not only you mastered your craft, you're a master of masters and you're teaching other fundis. Then if you have taught fundis and you've taught malangas, masters, then you become an Mfundishi, which is the highest you can go. That's the great grandmaster. Mfundishi Maasi was my teacher in the 1960s, and he promoted me to an Mfundishi. I was the 4th Mfundishi in this country. So we have Mfundishi Maasi, Mfundishi Tolona, Mfundishi Tayari Kassel, and then Mfundishi Jhutyms, Hassan Salim. Okay, so I'm the 4th. Now there's over dozens of Mfundishis in the world. Okay. But every Mfundishi has a title. The Shaha Mfundishi was the great founder Mfundishi. The Ngunga Mfundishi was the healer Mfundishi, the one who was a herbalist, the medicine man. Tayari, he also used to know Obo, which is like king in Yoruba, so the king Mfundishi. And then I'm Jhutyms, I'm the high priest, the Kemetic spiritual high priest. So now you kind of understand that title was given as a result. So I'm a doctor and all of that, but I don't use those titles. I only use my African title because it eclipses all of those. It's a great spiritual grandmaster. If I'm just a doctor in history or a doctor in philosophy, that's just blinders in one area.
Yes.
You have to be holistic. And you got to know many different avenues. So I have mastered what I call the spiritual domain, the mineral domain, the plant domain, the animal domain, so that I can be the highest in the human domain. So, education doesn't teach you anything like that, So even the idea of liberal education was created by ancient Kemet to make a person holistic and well-rounded, so that you're just not top heavy in one area. So as a Kemetic high priest, and let me just say this here, in the ancient world, before religion came into existence, all priests were warrior priests. Look at the Tibetan Lama, the Shaolin priests, the Buddhist priests. They all are experts in the healing arts, martial arts, meditation, so that you can protect all that you believe in. Remember I said a warrior protects all that it loves? So if I love the Creator and I want to teach this ma'at, truth, justice, righteousness, I have to be able to defend that. I need to be able to walk through the savannah. I need to be able to walk through the rainforest. I need to be able to walk across the desert with no fear and be able to defeat anybody who tries to take my life. Look at today's religious leaders. Do they fit that program? No. In fact, I don't want this to sound bad, but they lead the field in pedophilia. You know, I mean, you know, the church puts so much money aside because they know they're going to be molesting little boys and little girls because they know there's going to be suits. That was unheard of in the ancient world. You were a warrior priest. So I'm a priest scientist. Now, I know people, let me just, there's two types of scientists. You have the physical scientist and the spiritual scientist. A physical scientist can count, measure, and prove that what his equation is balanced because he can show you how he got the end results equal. So that's like the scientific formula, right? Mm-hmm. A spiritual scientist, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't measure it, but he can still show you the end results at the end.
Yes.
So there's things that you can't see that's real. The Western world dismisses that because they can't control that. Physical, I can control. The spiritual, I cannot control. And so people are scared. The Western world is scared to even acknowledge spiritual scientists. So a priest scientist is a priest who is a servant of the people. So all it means is that I serve more than you do. That's all. You know, everybody is humble. Everybody can be humbled, and everybody has their own way of serving some way. But the high priest spends his whole life serving the people to be one with the creator who exists inside and outside. See, we're looking outside for some God or something, where the creator is everywhere. He's not a noun. He's not outside of you. You're not looking out. You're not waiting for him to come back. He never left. He's here in your heart. Your higher consciousness puts you in touch with the creator. That's why people don't teach you meditation. Meditation is to listen to the creator within. Prayer is to speak to that creator who is within. And when you talk, and you write, that's creating spells. That's that spiritual science. That's just the vibration can change people's minds. Just the energy. That's why powerful speakers make lots of money, because they can persuade people by just their voice, just the word. And what does it say? In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Okay? So when Homo erectus got to the point where he can learn to speak with communication, now Homo sapiens came into existence. This new intelligence, the brain expanded, everything of that nature. So a high priest, one who serves the creator. So Ma'at, the key of life, is the center of my life. Knowing our culture, which is our medicine. We used to be the most long-lived of all people. The ancient Greeks and Romans used to talk about the ancient Ethiopians, and Ethiopia just meant burnt face. Anybody who was black was called an Ethiopian in the ancient world. And they used to say we were the most long-lived. Now, let me tell you this. In America, where I'm at right now, black men have the shortest lifespan in one of the richest countries in the world. Why? Why would the person who is the key, the root of the original people on this planet, who used to be the most long-lived, now have the shortest lifespan? Because we're out of our culture. Malcolm used to say, you out of your African mind. You lost your African mind. You out of your African. So, and it's not just the Africa, it's the high culture of Africa. It's just like every old person isn't an elder. An elder is a person who has been teaching and gives his life to the people and is respected by the people. You got old fools and young fools.
Yes.
And some people 80 years old, but they have their maturity is still like a 15-year-old. They're still running, whistling at women and running after people and wear baseball caps and basketball uniforms their whole life. But you 80 years old. Come on, put some real clothes on. Okay, so Dr. Tatah, every time you will ever see me in my life, if you've ever seen any picture of me, it's in African attire. Because
That is what I wanted to say.
I'm a custodian of African culture.
Yes.
Don't say something and then don't back it up. So people who know me, they say, "Oh, I remember that guy in the 1960s. He's still wearing dashikis." You know, he's still doing that. You know, so I just practice what I preach, and Brother Taki and Sister Felicia and Brother Hassan here at the HAPI Institute and HAPI Film Program. This is their third big African Unity Festival. We had we had Detroit. We went to Detroit. That was powerful. We had again 20, 30 people come. It was, you know, then we went to Brooklyn, you know, Black Excellence in Brooklyn. You know, that was powerful. And now we're going to Chi-Town. We're going to Chicago, and we're doing it again. We attempted to do this in Egypt, but the Arabs are so racist, they didn't want all these black scholars coming in talking about Egypt as black. And so they kind of banned us from coming to Africa. But maybe we'll come to another African country another year. So anybody who's listening, who got some clout, maybe they'll have African Unity Conference. We'll have it in Africa next year or the year after that. I know Professor Kambone, a really good friend of mine, is in Ghana. And I know they have a beautiful African festival every year. So those people who are in Ghana, get in contact with Dr. Kambone. He's a professor at the University of Ghana in Legon. So if you want to get to a powerful conference in Africa, go and connect with Dr. Kambone in Ghana.
Great. Thank you. Of course, the HAPI Next Conference and Festival with all of us partners and participants and the whole movement is going to be in Africa. Where the ancestors are going to call us, we don't know, whether it's Burkina Faso, whether it's Ghana, whether it's Cameroon. We just still don't know. We're just going to follow it. Yes, but before we round up this conversation for today, I mean, we still have a time. And if you are in the chat and you have some questions, I mean, not just comments, but questions about the upcoming conference, be aware that we are here to take your questions. Even out of the conversation, you can still go to happyfilm.com. I'm so sorry. www.happyfilm.com. You're going to get all information, how to get early bird ticket, how to exhibit at the business conference expo, how to get a space, you know, to network, to connect, and to share contacts. And I'll be there to, you know, actually like capture your products and everything so that we can commercialize and share it with the entire world and Pan-African Daily TV. So we are right ready for you. But everybody, Mfundishi, is asking, what is HAPI? What is HAPI? And I was really mesmerized when Sister Felicia explained HAPI. And I was just like, what? So even when people are saying get happy, happiness, and that's what comes from Africa and the origin, and we never even knew it. But you explain it in such a way that nobody can mystify. What is HAPI? HAPI.
Yeah. HAPI is a Madunechi word that was the HAPI Itiru was the name of what we call the Nile River today. So the Nile River is the longest river in the world, over 4,160 miles longest. The Amazon is the second largest in South America, but the largest river in the world is the HAPI Itiru, the HAPI River. And HAPI was the lifeline of ancient Kemet. HAPI, in fact, HAPI gave birth to ancient Kemet. HAPI became the first cultural highway of economic commerce in the world. That means that goods from the interior of Africa, traders travel. See, and the HAPI River is peculiar because it travels down north, not up north, down north from up south. And so if you look at my hat, you'll see Africa, and people say, well, it's upside down, Mfundishi. No, you've been upside down, inside out, and backwards your whole life. This is the proper way the Nile flows, from the up to down. So if you read a compass, north is down looking at you, and you look up south. And people say, oh, well, how can you prove that, Mfundishi? I said, listen, even look at in the Medu Necha words, Rashut, Su means up, and it means south. Aminti and Aminta means right, but it also means west. Yabit means left, but it also means east. Maheh means down, but it also means north. We created this concept, and then somebody else took it and turned it around. So I'm just trying to show you that Mfundishi just didn't make this up. He just didn't turn Africa upside down. Until about the 12th century AD, all maps were like this. And Europe was below Africa. In fact, most of you have been educated with the Mercator map that has 3/4 of the world in the northern hemisphere. So it looks like Europe and Asia is much bigger than the southern hemisphere. The equator divides the world in half. It should be 50% up and 50% down. Your Mercator map has Greenland bigger than Australia, when Australia is 5 times the size of Greenland. Australia is a continent. Greenland is an island. Africa is 5 times the size of the United States. Africa, China, all of Europe, and all that could fit inside of the African continent. It's the second largest continent. Eurasia together is the largest, but Africa is the second. And so you've been programmed because you've been upside down, inside out, back. And Dr. Tatah, let me just say this here. Because I know people who's hearing this for the first time saying, oh, come on, Mfundishi, you're going too far now. What I want you to do is go to, get a map right now, go to a geography map or atlas or something, and look at the Nile River. Look at ancient Egypt. And it has 6 cataracts. Cataracts is an obstruction in the flow of energy. That's why if you have a film over your eye, that's called a cataract. So a cataract in the water would mean rocks jetting up so boats can't go by, or a waterfall where you can't navigate across. So there's 6 cataracts in the HAPI River, which today we call the Nile River. If the water is flowing down north, then the first cataract got to be up south. The Europeans came into Africa upside down, and they saw the 6th cataract, and they named it the first cataract. Then the 2nd cataract in Sudan, they called the 5th cataract, and they went all the way down. So they call the last cataract, they call the 6th one when it's the first one. So now, Dr. Tatah, if you don't know no better, then you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. But once you get good information, you're supposed to make a correction. When you know better, you're supposed to do better. So now you're trying to tell me in the world today that everybody makes a map, everybody who has an encyclopedia haven't made that correction yet. So today you're still learning that the 6th cataract is the first cataract. They have not made any correction. So we have to understand what type of forces. This is about mind control, y'all. We're coming out of the age of the Piscean age, which was the age of control of the mind with religion. It was the symbol of the fish. And you know, Christianity, the symbol of Christianity is the fish. So almost all, before 600 BCE, there was no religions in the world. There were only spiritual systems where you were connected to nature and the creator what existed in your heart and everything else. And nature was the best example of it. Then religion came and put a Messiah in front of your face, and now you worship this man who's supposed to be the son of God or a person of God, and that everybody's a son and the daughter of God. So I need people to understand that. But you've been programmed, and they got you running after you have I heard somebody say that we have a worship gene, and that was placed inside of us. And that was used to control people. So we have to And if you want to worship, worship the divinity within you. Worship the divinity within nature. Worship divinity in the forces that control all humanity. And so when we had science, science was to complement that. Today's scientists, science destroys nature. Man is about to destroy himself with his own scientific inventions. AI, as powerful as it is, it's going to be your own destruction because it's going to eliminate you. We have to be able to have AI in relationship to nature. AI has to be in my art. I know somebody said, come on, I know you're engineers, you're an AI expert. Oh, no, Mfundishi, we need AI. What I want you to do, see, everything is culture. Remember I said culture is your medicine? Right now, punch in AI, show me a beautiful woman, and it's going to show you a beautiful white woman. Show me a real strong warrior. It's going to show you a strong white guy, probably a Greek or a Roman. In order to get a black face there, you got to say, show me a black queen or a black beauty. Then it'll show you some black women. Show me a black warrior. And then if you say, show me a warrior of Kemet, it's going to come up with a white boy. You got to say, show me a black warrior in Kemet, and then AI will show you the black. But whoever programs that is programming their culture into it. So I need you to understand culture is your medicine. You got to be engulfed in your culture. If you don't love yourself, why do you expect somebody else to? If you're a black woman in her natural state, it's not the epitome of beauty. Why do you expect anybody else to worship that? In South Africa, when Miss Universe was Miss South Africa and she had the afro, do you know her mother, her family, and all her friends told her to press her hair to straighten it? Because you can't win looking like a real African. And she went against all of them and came out with her beautiful African kinky hair and still won Miss Universe. Because she believed in herself. You got to believe in yourself. Dr. Tatah, I hope I've, brought some things home that people understand that. I want to teach classes. I still teach them to do nature. So if you go to Mfundishi Jhutyms, my first two names, MfundishiJhutyms.com, that's my website, MfundishiJhutyms.com. If you want to send me an email, it's MfundishiJhutyms@gmail.com. If you want to go on my Facebook, it's Mfundishi Jhutyms. If you want to go on my Instagram, it's Mfundishi Jhutyms. So if you just punch my name in, Mfundishi Jhutyms, over 100 DVDs and stuff like that will pop up almost on any topic. So I'm very accessible. I'm in New York. I vend crystals, gemstones, and books on 125th Street 3 days a week, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday. So I'm accessible. You can come and talk to me. You can come and sit down in the afternoon and have some tea with me, or it's hot now, so we can have some lemonade together.
Woo! We are not going to close this session without you just explaining a little bit. We have our youth here. We also have elder youth. We also have, like what you said, we are elder youth. And this class, okay, I just want to pull this. I have been in class the whole time. Thank you. So that's what Pan-African Daily TV is. You have to be in class, and we listen and we ask things that actually normally we would get at the SHE conference, even double or triple of what we're asking here. I just want to ask you again. Hey, Cheryl, thank you so very much. No validation over here, especially from haters. We don't need no validation, whether it's right or wrong. We are not here for that. We are in class. So what I wanted to say is, can you, in this art, just explain ancient Kemet? Because when we always, I know, all of us here probably we know, but like those students that are just still in class now and asking, like, what is ancient Kemet? All right, not just what is ancient Kemet, what is ancient Kemet today? If
Okay.
I want to put, and somebody just like in ancient Kemet, and the fact is it ancient Kemet, or it is still the reality of Kemet, but just twisted in another way? Thank you very much, sir.
All right. So when we talk about ancient Kemet, we're talking about before, when we're looking at time, we're talking about before the Common Era. The Western world has broken things up between BCE and AD. Okay. So sometimes you use CE. So we say before the Common Era, which is over 2,000 years ago, or the Common Era. So that's why this is 2026. Um, that's why this is 2026. That's AD. I'm going to act that out, Lord. Or we, if you're not a Christian, we say CE, Common Era. Okay. So anything before that is really the ancient world. Okay. So what we call Egypt today is a Greek name that comes from the word Egyptos, which was Het-ka-Ptah. So Het-ka-Ptah was a capital in ancient Kemet. There was three words that they used to describe their nation. One of the first words that they used was Sema Tawi, the united two lands. So when Narmer, over 6,000 years ago, united the two lands, that was called Sema Tawi. They united the south with the north, tied a knot of the lotus and the papyrus plant, and pulled it together and said, now this is one nation. It was also called, because they had so much affection for their country, they called it Tameri. And Tameri means the beloved land. The beloved land. That's how much affection they had for this land. But the most famous name, especially from the so-called middle period on, was called Kemet. And Kemet meant the black land, the black community. So not the black land like in the soil. If I say the black community, that it doesn't mean the ground is black. It means the people there are black. And they call themselves the Kemetiu. The Kemetiu means the black people. So I need you to understand. We got Egyptologists say, okay, they had the black land, red land. Red land meant the desert, and black land meant the fertile land. But if they use the same the word Kemet, the word Kem means black. And the determinative there is burning charcoal. And we know that charcoal is black. So that's the determinative they use to describe what black is. It looks like charcoal. Okay. And so the name of the country became Kemet. There's a T at the end because they put this black community in a feminine energy. All their cities and towns, a nation is in a universal feminine because it gives birth, it nurtures, it loves, it sacrifices. So they didn't just call it Kim, they called it Kemet with the T at the end. And then for determinative, they had a crossroad, meaning cultivation and commerce was there. And then they would put sometimes another little a dash, like not a cataract, but like a canal in, meaning that there was irrigation in this area. That this was a cultivated irrigation land, a community of black people. So Egypt, Greek, from Het-ka-Ptah, which is just broken up from the word Het-ka-Ptah, which was a capital of Kemet. The Greeks didn't know any better. There's a book also called Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. And Stolen Legacy shows you that every so-called Greek philosopher studied in Kemet. When you look, and not only this, almost all of them today, they're great. But during their lifetime, they were all persecuted for teaching foreign thought because the Europeans knew that this is some black stuff. So we learned Greek philosophy through the Moors. The Moors preserved all of this information because they could read Arabic. Some of them could read the Medu Neter, and they could read the Greek. And so the Moors took Europeans out of the Dark Ages. The Germanic tribes and all of that became educated from the Moors. There is no great if you look, you're in Germany right now. Look at your look at the shield of the founders of Germany, the first kings and stuff. They were black. They were the Moors. Go look at. Don't take my word for it. Look at the golden shields and the armor of Germany, and Germany is connected to England. In fact, the rulers of England come from Germany also. They separated themselves during the war because when Germany was at war, England didn't want to be associated with it, so there was a great separation. But they actually come from the same, and their shields has black people on it who were the Moors. So we educated Europeans 2 times. We educated them first through the Greeks and then later through the Romans, and they're the first Europeans to be civilized. And then they went into their Dark Ages. When they went into their Dark Ages, what does that mean? That means they got separated from Africa and Asia. That's the Holy Wars, the Crusades, right? So they got separated from the source of their education, and they went into their Dark Ages. And the Moors re-educated them when they conquered Egypt in 711 and were not kicked out until 1492. And so you can see from 711 to that's a whole lot of, what is that, 800 years, 900 years, almost 1,000 years. They re-educated the first universities in Europe were all studied by the Moors. The cathedrals that you see in Europe and all around there, those were Moors set up most of those, or they were the whole Masonic order comes from that. In America, we have we're supposed to be Kemet of the West. And so 52 of the 55 people who signed the Declaration of Independence were all Freemasons studying ancient Kemet. And today we're afraid of that. we're afraid to immerse ourselves in that. And so the study of Kemet, not Egypt again, is the Greek word. And even when the Greeks and the Romans took control and developed the capital at Alexander, that became the seat of knowledge in the world today. And so almost all the other religions came. There is no Buddhism and Hinduism before 600 BCE. That's when Persia conquered Egypt and brought those priests out, and they travel all across Asia. The first dynasty in China is the Shang dynasty. Shang 1 and 2, black people. The Tigris Euphrates along there was called what? The Indus Kush Valley. Why Indus Kush? Because Kush were the African people who came from Eastern Africa who civilized that area first. So I want people, there's a book called The Wonderful Ethiopians by Priscilla Houston. So hopefully, Dr. Tatah, they can get this tape and go back and write these names down. Priscilla Houston, The Wonderful Ethiopians. And she has one of the best books that exists in the world explaining how the Kushites of East Africa came and civilized all Southern Asia, all the way across to Japan. The original people in Japan, black people. The original people in China, black people. In fact, when I was a national champion in the martial arts, I had a free trip to China. And naturally, I went to the Shaolin Temple and all the great temples. And on the walls, I saw black men teaching the Chinese. I said, we don't see this in America. And the high priest came to me. He says, I'm Chinese. I teach Chinese culture. You African, you teach African culture. And that's when we came back and formed the Pan-African Association, because we realized we had to teach our own stuff. But they won't lie about it. If you ask them, no, they will tell you that Buddha Dhamma was a 26th disciple coming from India. He walked across the Himalayas, taught them breathing exercises and what we later became the Shaolin Temple and Kung Fu and the martial arts, but coming from Africa. So they won't deny it. It's just that they're not pushing that. We have to push our own program. Nobody will know the lion's story until he writes it down. If we only get the hunter's version, then the lion is always the victim. So I hope I've explained. This word Kemet means the black community. It's a universal feminine energy, and it's talking about the people. And when I mean black, I don't mean that you have to be the color black. It means that you are melanin-dominated people, carbon. Carbon is to melanin as chlorophyll is to plants. As, okay, so I just need as carbon is to minerals. So you understand the mineral domain, carbon, the plant domain, chlorophyll, and that's why green and black is synonymous with the origin of something. So they'll have Asar, which was considered an Egyptian Kemetic king, right? And they'll have him green, but they call him the Great Black. Tatah will be considered green, but he is the creative spark of the universe. So they'll show them green and black, show them that that's the origin of life. Chlorophyll will take the energy from the sun and transform it into food. Vitamin D in black people, we take the sun, so we're the children of the sun. So don't be afraid of your dark skin. Glorify your dark skin. Don't be trying to bleach it out. Everybody else, don't be running from the sun. And vitamin D that you buy from the store is artificial. The only way to really get vitamin D is through the sun, being out in the sun. Let me just say that. It's a hormone. It's not a vitamin. They just call it vitamin D. Dr. Tatah, I hope I've answered this with this, Kevin.
I just don't even know how to explain. You've answered and re-answered everything. I just still want to locate Sudan and Kush.
Right. So what we call
today's Sudan.
Yeah, today's Sudan. That's Sudan and South Sudan, and part of what is Ethiopia and Somalia. All of that was called ancient Kush, which later people start calling Nubia. But Nubia wasn't an original word. Nubu is the word for gold. And so because when the Romans got their gold from this area, they called the people Nubians, the people of the gold, and the place Nubia, the golden land. But we didn't call it that. That's what foreigners call it, and now we're calling it. Just like we didn't necessarily call ourselves Africans. Other people call us that, and now we call ourselves that. Okay, we basically had words that describe the geographical location that we came from. At one time in history, all people from Asia and Europe, when they saw anybody of color that looked like me and you, they called us Ethiopians. That just meant burnt face, dark complexion. So Ethiopia really meant just burnt face, dark face. It's not really an African word, Ethiopia. And we've just taken on it. So present day Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, all the way down to Uganda, all of that was ancient Kush. And in the central of Africa, where we have Congo, Tanzania, Rwanda, all of those places, that was called Tanetcher, the land of divinity, the land of God. That's what we call Central Africa. Tanetcher, the land of God, the land of divinity. That's the affection we had for the internal about. So in ancient Kemet, when they talked about places like the Congo and going towards South Africa, that was Tanetcher. They realized that they came from that. And so I want to make sure before I close, when we talked about Tamari and we talked about Kush, I want you to understand that Kemet, which we call ancient Egypt, the Nile, was the mouthpiece of the African continent. So all that knowledge that we saw written on the wall and the paragraph, the astronomy, the astrology, wasn't created there. It was just, they wrote it down there because they wrote it in stone. If you write it down in the Congo where it rains in the tropical rainforest on wood, it's going to deteriorate after 100 years. You ain't going to have it no more. In West Africa where you have the forest, it's going to deteriorate. But in the desert, if I wrote it on stone, it's going to stay there for thousands of years.
Yes.
So you've heard the expression, the writing is on the wall. Well, Dr. Tatah is still there. So when I take people to Kemet, I'm reading the glyphs right off the wall for them. So they don't have to take my word for it. I'm reading the glyphs right off the wall that was written 3,000, 4,000 years, 5,000 years ago. We're inside of the Mirkut, the pyramid of Unas in Saqqara. And you can go down inside of the pyramid, and that's where the pyramid text, the pyramid Sapiat is there. And you can read it right off the wall right there. And the science at that point is even beyond the science we almost have now. In fact, in the step pyramid, they found bowls and vases and all types of dishes and stuff like that that cannot be duplicated today, made from diorite, the hardest stone outside of diamond. That today you need a laser to do it, but laser doesn't go around the corners and all of that. And they were wondering, how did they drill the hole that's perfect? How is it perfectly aligned? And from the hardest material, and then they claim we only had copper tools during that time. So, so I'm just trying to let you know, and this is the interior of Africa. And this was done even before Kemet came into existence from ancient Kash. So I'm showing you how great. In fact, the older we go back, sometimes the greater the technology. You are.
Dr. Peter Held is asking if you're still in 125 vending.
Yes, Thursday, Fridays. Yeah,
Health Chronicles.
Tell it from 12 to 6, Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. I'm at 125th Street between Malcolm X and Adam Clayton Powell. Those are two great people to be between. I'm between Malcolm X Boulevard and Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard. Okay. On 125th Street. Actually, the address is actually 120 West 125th Street.
120, Dr. Peter. I think
West.
You got that. West. Okay. At the Harlem Street. I think, Cheryl, is this not closer to you?
I'm right near not far from, I'm across the street from the Harlem State Office building.
Right. In Brooklyn.
No, I'm in Harlem.
In Harlem.
I'm in Harlem, New York. Yes, I'm in Harlem.
Okay. In Harlem.
Harlem.
Yes. Wow. I mean,
and I'd like to say that we also, like, even when I'm doing this show right now, I'm at the Harlem International African Museum of Culture and Art. So we have a museum.
Oh, right where you are right now.
Right now, I'm in the library. We have a whole African exhibit of ancient Kemet and stuff like that, but it's by arrangement only. So they would have to email myself or the director to come and see it when they come to New York. But if you're in New York or you ever come to Harlem, make sure you contact me so you can come and get a tour of our museum here.
Of course. See, this is my queen here, and she says she's just 20 minutes on the train to where you are. Yes, I'll be visiting very, very shortly. And of course, not shortly for a time. I just want to. Okay, after this. Anyways, yeah, we still have some time. Mfundishi, if you really would spare some 15 minutes with us again, because what you are pouring here is most of the students in class are hearing it for the first time. That's why I'm really using everything. But we know that that you give online classes or something like that. And all this, we're going to put it HAPI in a HAPI package, which is already anything. If you can get to Mfundishi, please just go straight to happyfilm.com. These are the movement partners like Pan African Daily, like Mfundishi, like Jabari, all the network, the HAPI network is a huge movement.
Yeah.
And you see, they tell you the origin. It's not just event, it's just vendors. But before you buy from Mfundishi, you know the meaning of why you are buying what and for what purpose and how it serves you spiritually. Am I correct?
Yeah, Brother Jabari also will be Brother Jabari Asad will also be doing the museum tours with me. So as we'll be breaking the groups up, so both of us will be taking people through museum. So I just want to make
Yes,
sure you understand that.
he's also going to be my guest on the show. Let me just go through the upcoming guest again. I think we said it last time and I shared it here. So today we have Mfundishi. On the 24th, we're going to have Queen Efua. Please, this one again. I mean, it's your sister. All of you are, in the same. So we're going to have Queen Efua, and then on the 1st of July, we're going to have Robin Walker from UK.
Excellent.
So a comrade. Then we're going to have Jabari Ozaze on the 8th of July. And of course, we're going to have Queen Felicia and Hassan, who are going to close up everything and just welcome us, in Chi, which will be the last days. I think most of us will already be on the ground there. And I don't know where I'm going to stay with Cheryl or I'm going to be staying with you. Whatever it is, I know I'm going to be in an African village and a right one. Can you simply just explain the queen on your bracelet?
Oh well, this is
I
just
love it. It's just calling my name every time.
yes. Well, first of all, I have a quartz crystal here, and the quartz crystal is for clarity and focus and thought. Clear. That's why when somebody says something dynamic, you go, "Oh yeah, that's crystal clear, crystal clear, crystal clear." It's a universal thought. It covers all of your Shechem Sinra, all your centers, and help you have clarity of focus and thought. And I have it embraced in copper and silver. Copper flowing with electricity and energy, and silver to metabolize. So those are two great energies that I have. This is a mask showing like a chief in Ghana. So in Ghana, I'm like a chief, a Nana in Ghana. And so I'm just showing respect. So it's like a passport. So when people see this, they know you're connected and that you understand the culture and that you're upholding the culture.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
So it's just like, I'm just walking down New York and people see me and they know. They don't
Mm,
even know who I am
mm.
or whatever, but they know what I represent, you know.
Yes.
Uh, and
Absolute,
that's
absolute,
like
absolute. And
usually,
your rings, I saw you wore something like a
yeah,
slippers.
I got an uncle one thing. Usually, sometimes
Yeah, I know.
I have a Henny Asante. This is the Ashanti people. This is the golden slipper. This is the slipper of the king. Just showing that. And then I have lapis lazuli. Lapis
We're
lazuli,
not seeing it. Can you?
the pineal gland. So that's
Mhm.
the third eye, the pineal gland. So I try to keep my pineal gland open and wide. And that's why I'm on 125th Street trying to get raw, trying to get the sun in. So I'm getting my melanin every day, activating the pineal gland. I'm a, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm trying to, make sure I get all the right fruits and things of that nature. So I'm still a young man. I'm only 77, so I'm a young man, So
Oh my God, of course. You're even getting younger. The more, like you said, it's like the more we age backward, the more the knowledge and the secret is always hidden. So exactly, and this is one question. In ancient Kemet, like you said, elders had nothing to do with age. Today, when we say the elderly people, we can still have elders that are behaving like you said. um yeah, can you just say that again? I mean, we cannot hear enough of this.
well, in the Kemetic philosophy, a person's not born wise. A person is taught to be wise. And see, everybody is exposed to certain things, but only a certain group of people acknowledge knowledge and learn how to use it. So a wise person who is an elder is a person who has a collection of knowledge and they know how to use it. See, because just having a collection of facts don't mean anything. That doesn't make you smart. You know, you just know a whole bunch of stuff, but you haven't liberated yourself. You haven't used it to liberate yourself. So a wise person, it says, never take counsel from a person who's doing worse than you are. Never take counsel from a person in a particular field, and that person is not successful in that field. We have a word, I don't know if you heard this word before, Dr. Tatah, but it's called a jegna. It's an Amharic word from Ethiopia. It's a wise elder who's an expert in the field that you want to know, and they teach you through ma'at. So the Europeans have a word called mentor. Mentor is from the god mentor, who teaches his students by any means necessary. Usually, if you want to be the next king, how to kill your brother, how to make sure you get the next, how to double cross, and how to get rid of all your competition. Get to the top by any means necessary. So that's the corporate world. Capitalism has mentors because money is the ultimate objective. So you do whatever you got to do. That's not the African way. I know we trying to imitate them and we call ourselves mentoring people. No, you don't want to mentor nobody. You want to be a jegna. You want to teach them to be an expert in their field because you are already an expert and they don't have to go through the trials and tribulations. And you make sure that it's based upon ma'at, truth, justice, righteous, harmonious balance, reciprocity, and right order. A jegna.
What is the word?
Huh? Jegna.
What is the gender?
A jegna. A jegna.
I would really just want the spirit, the spelling, because we've been going, we're mentors, we mentor young people.
Yeah, no, you want to be a mentor. You
that.
got to look up that mentor is a terrible person. He teaches you to get to the top by any means necessary, and it's usually by devious means. Get rid of the competition. You know, do whatever. That's the corporate world. You know, you want to be a jegna.
Is it the word they use, agenda? No, it's not. It's not agenda. That's what I was also. I mean, I wasn't coming to it. I'd love to see this spelling.
Jegna. Jegna.
Jegna. Jegna.
Jegna.
Jenna.
Jeg. There's a G. Jegna.
Jegna. I just posted it here.
It's an Amharic word, so they might even spell it a little different. I'm just spelling it the way it sounds. I don't speak Amharic, you know, but it's an Amharic word from Ethiopia. But
Jegna. Wonderful. We're going to translate it. This is one of the biggest thing. I mean, like even the PLO Lumumba Foundation is on mentorship, and I'm a mentee, and we mentor the young people. So you see,
so you're just teaching people to be a capitalist, and you're teaching people from the European perspective. If you're doing a mentorship, you. So that's why it's so. See that going back, culture is your medicine. So when you're using somebody else's culture, you wonder why you're sick. That's why. If you're a black capitalist, you just took the place of a European capitalist. You're not. It's not Unjama. It's not cooperative economics. The principles in Kwanzaa is not. It's not anything like that. You know. So that's why it's so important for us to embrace our culture and understand what did our esteemed elders use. How did our esteemed elders do their rites of passage program? So the people who are running the rites of passage program are jegnas. They're teaching young women how to be women. They're teaching young men how to be men through the wisdom of their culture. Dr. Clark used to tell us Pan-Africanism or perish. I was just listening the other day where Europeans are talking about that Africa by 2050 will be 1/4 of the human population. And the future, they will be a superpower, just like China became a superpower, and just like Russia is a superpower. But now both of them embrace their culture. That what made China powerful is they had a cultural revolution. They kicked the Westerners out. They embraced their own language. They embraced their elders. They embraced the knowledge of their ancestors. And now they're a superpower. Africans have to do that, but we can't do it at 54 countries. 54 little individual countries cannot compete with the superpowers of the world. There's almost no little African country, and some even big Nigeria can't compete even with the economy of Germany. They can't compete the economy with just England. They can't compete with Russia. They can't compete with China. Can you imagine, as powerful as Ghana is in this small self, trying to go up against China? Two nations, no. But Africa can go up against anybody as a unit. So this Pan-Africanism or perish. When we start thinking as one, if we got to think as 54 different presidents, as opposed to a one voice, it becomes. In my book, I have a council of the Jedi. And when they go before the Jedi, even though it's 9 of them, right, on the council, they only speak at one voice. When you speak to the council of Jedi, it's telepathic, and only one person speaks to you because he's the mind of all 9. So the power is just unbelievable. So Africa has to begin to think like that. They got to think like one. It doesn't mean that everything is identical and everything in every. It's like in the United States. The United States is what? How many? 50 different countries, 50 different states. But it's one voice, one president, one Congress, one council. Africa has to be able to do that, like the United States of Africa. It has to be one voice in order to be a power that everybody recognizes. When I was in, El Haj Malik used to tell us when we were little, in the early 50s and before that, they used to have a saying, if you were a coward, they used to say, you know, you're yellow. You ain't got a Chinaman's chance, because China was a weak country. Now nobody says that. You probably never even heard that before to describe somebody, talking about you're yellow. In fact, if you see a Chinese guy, you think he might know Kung Fu. You don't even want to mess with him. He might be related to Bruce Lee or something. You know,
but everybody, yes.
Nobody says that. But when China was weak and Western controlled their culture, they used to have sayings like that. You ain't got a Chinaman's chance and you're yellow. But nobody says that today. Now, when a black man gets arrested in America, he doesn't have an African country to get his back.
Yes.
I mean, when they shot Abo Diablo, and they shot this guy 50-something times on his own porch in Brooklyn, Nigeria didn't come and say, we want composition. You can't do that to our people. There's no African voice has that. Look, Trump called African countries, excuse the expression, what, shithole countries or something like that. And there was no collective, the African Union didn't come and say, oh, President Trump, you can't call us that. No, there was no voice strong enough to even combat that. So, and we got individual leaders. Now we got the Sahel countries have unified together under Torre and stuff like that. So we got to have one voice. That's just one aspect. We got to have a voice. So eventually the whole Sahel Union got to spread all over Africa. Africa for Africans. And let me say that when I say Africa, I'm not anti anybody else. I'm not anti-Europeans. I'm not anti-Asiatics. I'm not anti-white. I'm pro-black. I'm just saying Africans got to love themselves. And we're the most humane people on the planet. Nobody is forgiving as African people. Nobody is forgiving. We are the most lovable people on the planet. but we're catching hell from everybody because we're not a strong voice anymore. We gave to the world mathematics, science, engineering. We gave to the world almost everything that's valuable today. And yet we're looked down upon. And it's because of our state of disunity at this point. See, Dr. Tatah, it's not who comes out the block. We like to say, okay, we're the original people. So you came out of the blocks first. That don't mean you're going to win the race because you came out the blocks first, because you the first 10 meters, you were ahead of everybody, but it's a 100-meter race. You got to cross the finish line. So right now, yes, we can boast that we are the original people on the planet. Yes, we can boast that we started civilization. Yes, we can boast that Kemet was one of the greatest nations in the world. But now, what are we going to do now? So my teaching that I do now is, how do we regain that? How do we regain our humanity? How do we embrace our culture? You know, when the Europeans come to 125th Street and they see me, they all want to take a picture of me. You know, click, click, click. Oh, can we take a? You know what they're thinking? That's an African that got away.
That's the one that knows. That's the Buffalo Soldier. That's the one that refused.
Look at him. He looks like a king. Let's get a picture of him. You know? And then they can go home and show the kid. This is what Africans used to look like. And today they got their pants hanging down, baseball caps on backwards, you know, and everybody got a t-shirt and some shorts or something. You know, no. Embrace your culture. Dr. Tatah, thank you for allowing me to teach this.
Dr. Peter is saying he got away, they run away. This is so crazy. Exactly like you did it. We cannot just be so grateful. You see, this energy that you're having here, people, imagine being here. Just a little bit, you just have a foretaste, just a little bit of what we are feeling here on Pan-African Daily TV. Imagine, you know, this is just one piece of what is going to happen in Chicago. Imagine how many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm not even including, it is a 20 manpower speakers, journalists, you know, that are going to be there, who are walking the path, the runaways. The runaways are the ones, the womb runaways. I love the honor that is given to African American. Like I just cannot, you know me. I mean, don't make me to cry. You know, this reverse, us coming now to sit at the foot of the real elders and listen. One last question, because one of the things that I want to come to this conference, not only just to share expertise and to connect and network and to benefit, or just as a member, honorable member of the HAPI movement in Europe, but of course, I wanted to come to be able to know from you. You're not obliged to give me all the information here. Is it possible for students, for people, for me to take a course, like really a kind of a research course? Do you offer a research course with practical sessions for at least 6 months or a year,
Listen, let me explain. When I'm teaching from my class, Mfundishi Jhutyms and the Spirit of the Magi, Volume 1 and 2, it is a research, it is a history class, it's a research class, it's a psychology class, it's all of the sciences in one. And it's usually 12 to 14 weeks. And I do it 2 times a year. So right now, we're like in week 5 of the course. So people were trying to start now. We're actually in the middle. We're in the middle. So that class will start again in October. So people who come to the conference in July, September, October, we'll be getting ready to have registration for the next course, which will be
begins in October then.
Begin in October, yes.
Great, wonderful. And after the course, what is I don't want to call it a certification.
Well, after they finish, if they go 2 sessions, they got to go at least 2 sessions. Then I give them a certificate because they'll have to take like an exam, and they become a Jegna. Now you become a Jegna, a scientist. And now I want you to go back and have these rites of passage programs in your community. So I'm not just doing this to make you feel good. I'm doing this because I don't teach students. I teach leaders. Yes. So my students are leaders. I'm teaching people to be leaders. I don't want nobody under me, I want them, like I said, right now, especially like in the martial arts, my number 1 student there, he's an Mfundishi too. So now I've made him an Mfundishi. So I'm an Mfundishi who's made Mfundishis. I'm Mfundishi who's made Malangas. In fact, one of my students now who just became a Fundi is now opening up a school in Tanzania. So we're making progress all around. My school that'll be in Ghana is going to be global. I don't care where you're in the world. Just like right now they tapped into your program, they'll be able to tap into my school in Ghana next year, where I'll be teaching all of this. So you can have your kids, you can come and stay in the dormitory there, or you can come and just be on Zoom like this, or through
online. Yes. Online. So what about Mfundishi, but the other classes on the martial art, this is something different, isn't it?
Yes. I don't teach the martial arts class anymore. I've kind of retired from that. When I think when I hit my 73rd birthday, I figured I promoted other people, and like I said, I promoted my top student. He's an Mfundishi now, and he teaches classes. I have Fundis who teach. I got Malangas who teach. So I teach teachers. So they're now taking on the legacy. Right now, I'm spending a lot of energy. I'll send them to those students if they want to take the combat arts, and we do call our combat the Manchu combat arts, because martial is from, again, the Greek god Martial, who was a god of war to destroy. Manchu was the nature of war who preserved Ma'at. So the only reason why you're going to war is to protect what you love, not to go take somebody's stuff. See, so we are defining ourselves. So we're the Manchu combat system of warriors. So yes, they can still take Kupagani and Gumi. There's Kupagani, and people come to Chicago. One of the co-founders of the Kupagani Pan-African Federation is from Chicago. So they'll see other Mfundishis other than myself there also, who are Mfundishi in the martial arts. I'm Mfundishi who's also a comedic pre-scientist. So all the Mfundishis are not pre-scientists. Some are in the Yoruba system. Some are in the Congolese system. So there are different Mfundishis who are pushing the program. I just happen to be the Mfundishi who's the pre-scientist in ancient Kemet.
Great. Awesome. So people, you see what we're going to be getting in the Chi. In Chicago, there's going to be enrollment, because that's it. We're learning always from the opposite now, because we're doing reversing and going back to our roots. I mean, who would not want to know this and be a runaway? You see, when they make pictures of you, that of course they identify you. Even a natural African, when I said natural African, when you keep your natural self, people come to you. You're attractive. They come. I mean, one of the things we teach them in Germany, never touch our hair, because they're always so inquisitive about her hair. Why your hair is like this. They always want to touch her hair. That's one of the things we're going to be doing at the Africa Festival in Tübingen, teaching people not to touch our hair. Look at it, admire it. Yes, it's good. Our kinkies, we know they are beautiful, but please don't touch it, because that's a sacred communication between us and ancestors. That's what I always tell them.
Yes,
Our
that's
hairs are our channels, and imagine you disrupting by touching, because that's somehow too much disrespect. We don't touch people's hair, but only the kinky hairs attract that energy of people to touch. So the more natural we are, the more respectful, the most they want to know. But if you just a copy, and what is it that I want to see in a street or whatever, I know it, but something that I don't know scares me. So what is this? So we appreciate your time. We thank you so very much. And like I said, all of you who are here, you've been educated. Those that are watching us even offline and on the other platforms. And this video that we just recorded is a live production. It's going to be on Pan African Daily TV, like the ones since 2020 that we launched this channel. All our videos are still there on raw stuff. We don't edit anything, even the ones that we used to cry live on the show, all the ones that we used to, like we were rebirthing, we were regenerating, we were transforming, we were getting out of the old skin to become us. We were metamorphosing. And you can go through the sequence. And I deliberately just keep those videos for exactly the legacy and the records for our children. We don't mess up with anything. We've never downloaded to re-edit, to correct, or whatever. It stays like that because that's the way, it was meant to be from then. So I truly want to thank you so very much. I don't
And
know.
Tatah, would you send me the flyer that you had for this program, the post that you had for me? Would you send that to my email? The post I
Oh, wait. Let me show you whether this is what you're talking about. This one?
Yes, send
Yes,
that
of
to
course.
send that to my
Yes,
email.
I will. I will. Look at that. Look. Just look at everything that is here at this 73, 75. And oh my God, I don't want to ask some private questions right now. Let's just keep it behind the scenes because, we like fine men, we like fine kings and elders. We like, our brothers that are in there to defend and to keep the culture alive. So that's why I said we're going to be sharing some other informations, and all the inquisitives that are here, you already know what I'm talking about. So I'll be giving you feedback if our king is available. It's not just available to teach us. Anyway, I just done. I pull out this question because I have a difficulty small print, and I already wear glasses. It's off. What is off is I don't know if you're asking secretary, if you're asking this question for the audience, or it's another communication. I'm so sorry, but I had to pull it up because it's kind of like pull our attention. Anyway, so when are we going to have you live on the until after Chi, before I think we can have you on Pan African Daily again to give a feedback and
Yes, we can
everything.
talk about it.
So,
We can talk about
yeah.
after the Chi conference and me coming to Germany, and you can have me live there. That would be
Oh yes. Oh my God. That is August. August. Let me see if I have the postal here just for records, because I also see some people were asking, what about the Germany project when it's going on, and Happy was already saying, Susan, please let's just concentrate. Let's focus on the Happy in the Chi, so that we can all focus at the Germany Power in Unity. So we just decided, as a matter of fact, to take the slogan Power in Unity so that it becomes like an anthem. It has to become like an, of course I know that we did the Black excellence, but we want to put the Power in Unity, a motto for 2026, 2027, 2028, like a 3 years motto on all our ventures, on everything. We're going to get Power in Unity. So the Power in Unity edition is from the 6th to the 9th of August 2026 in Germany. Yes, in the southern province of Germany, we have an open market, and we are launching the first ever Power in Unity conference. During this, and in November we're going to have the Excellence Award as well. So yes, it's a whole theme. The power in unity means we all focus. We go to Chi, from Chi we come to Germany, from Germany we go to Ghana, and that's how we just have to get this movement going on. After all, it's a movement, isn't it? Yes. So I want to thank you so very much. We're coming to an end. Do you want to close the what is the last word? What are you telling us? Why must we come to Chi again?
I would just like to say, I'm in Ra Nasut nature, Atinra Nebenang, Day in New Ankh Uja Senet, a Nejarak Amen, a Nook Amen, a Nejarak Mut, a Nook Mut, a Nejarak Kunsu, a Nook Kunsu, a Nejarak Asar, a Nook Asar, a Nejarak Aset, a Nook Aset, a Nejarak Haru, a Nook Haru, a Nejarak Fatah, a Nook Fatah, a Nejarak Sekmet, a Nook Sekmet, a Nejarak Nefer Atum, a Nook Nefer Atum, a Nejarak Ra, a Nook Ra, a Nejarak Het Haru, a Nook Het Haru, a Nejarak Atum, a Nook Atum, a Nejarak Shehuti, a Nook Shehuti, a Nejarak Shishat, a Nook Shishat, a Nejarak Ma'at, a Nook Ma'at. Ma'at is truth, justice, righteous, harmonious balance, and reciprocity in all things. May you live by Ma'at. May your reward for being Ma'at is to receive Ma'at. Dua Nechi. Dua.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Good. Whew. Thank you so very much. After these words of meditations and blessings, and to all of us, there's just nothing again to say. We're just thankful and grateful to have you here, great one. And we see us in Chi as soon as possible. Come July 24th, 26th, we all shall be there. Ashe, Bayete. Thank you. Good. Wonderful, wonderful people. We come to the end of this conversation and this meeting. Not a conversation, it's a gathering of the African people around the world. And I think all of you have learned this word, and I'm going to share it again. If you never knew it, we are all Jekna. But you also know that we can take classes with the elder Mfundishi, and I'm already enrolling for the October class. If I had knew it, I would have been in the first class session. So we have to enroll, and I think these classes are also available online. So please make sure in your community. I am the Mfundishi of Europe and Germany in particular for our people that were here. Where are you going to be the Mfundishi under the leadership of Mfundishi Jhutyms? So please make sure you register for the class coming up in October so that we can be the Yekna. And when we become the Yekna, you know what it is. We're not going to teach no nonsense. Like Fela Kuti said, teacher, teach me no nonsense. We're going to be the right students, and we're going to be teaching exactly. So we have our sister from Colombia signing in to greet us right here, Maite Valencia. These are our people in the Colombia greeting us all the way. Thank you so very much. We also have our late Amari Bontus, who was asked Mfundishi if he does eat meat. Oh, no, I think the teacher is still here. I'm going to ask this right away. I'm not letting you go. Do you
Nothing
eat
that
meat?
has eyes or parents. I don't eat any flesh, nothing that had eyes or parents.
Again, sir, nothing that has.
Eyes or parents. Parents. Mother, father, parents. No flesh. Only fruits, grains, vegetables, seeds, and nuts.
We see why you're looking this. Now we see why you are like this. Okay, so no meat. No meat on the bones. Secretary, you're already asking. Oh, okay, so no meat. I love this. No meat. Yes. Is it also in the principles of Mfundishi? Or you just teach it like for anyone who wants to or not?
Well, I didn't hear the first part. What was the first part?
I just asked, does that also is it a part of the teaching, or is also just an information for anyone who does or does not?
Yes, you know what? even in our spiritual system, it just so happened that everybody in our spiritual system are vegetarians or either vegans. But we don't force anybody to do that. It's just that once you get the information, remember I said, if you know better, you do better.
Yes.
So if you know better, that you know that the fruits, vegetables, and seeds are your food and your medicine. Every sickness that you got is because of what you're eating. I want to say that again. Every sickness you got, I don't care if you got high blood pressure and they say you're about to die. If you fast for 2 weeks or a month, you won't have high blood pressure no more. All of that will clear up because you stop eating the things that's making you sick. People who fast for 3 months and 2 months, have a strict diet. All of those sickness goes away. Your high blood pressure, your diabetes, all that leaves. Your obesity, all of that leaves. What you eat is killing you. So change your diet. See, when you change your mind, you can't be a person of higher spiritual consciousness and be obese and stuffing everything down your mouth and eating that McDonald's and Burger King and White Castle and fast foods. No. That's an abomination because you're abusing your body. Doctor, can I just say this here? We have 5 temples, sacred temples. Your first sacred temple is your consciousness. Your second sacred temple is your heart. Your third sacred temple is your body. Your fourth sacred temple is your shrine or your personal space where you recuperate and recharge. And the fifth temple is nature in its natural habitat, the forest, the jungle, the savanna, the grasslands, your parks, all like that. Go out, get your feet, take your shoes off, put your feet in the grass. We are electrical magnetic people. Electric coming from the sun, magnetic coming from the earth. We are electrical magnetic people. And what you eat, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to say here, you are what you eat. Eat to live. Don't eat to die. We eating to die. We eating to fill ourselves up. And don't eat such big portions. Have small. Your stomach is, the average person's stomach is the size of their fist. And people have plates like this here. You know, so that much. Okay. Smaller portions. Don't eat 3 meals a day is suicide. If you eat 3 meals a day for your whole life, you automatically are going to live 20 years shorter. So if you live to be 80, you were going to be 100 if you only had 1 meal a day or 1.5 or 2 meals a day. Europeans created that because of the restaurant industry so they can make money. They got you thinking you can't leave the house without breakfast because they're selling breakfast food. The factory closes down at lunch because they're supporting the restaurant industry. People, when you know better, you think better. Stop eating yourself to death. And let me say this. It takes more energy to digest food than any other biological function. I'm going to say it again. It takes more energy to digest food than any other biological function. So when your food goes into your stomach, the blood comes from your brain and it comes from your feet. That's why when you have a big meal, you just want to go to sleep, especially if you had a whole bunch of meat and stuff like that. Meat takes a couple of days to digest. You got a long digestive tract. All animals that eat meat have a short digestive tract so that you either get the nutrients and then it's out. If it stays in the body 2 days, 3 days, it's going to putrefy, causing disease and sickness. And if you eat meat, you're supposed to be eating it raw. That's why Europeans love their stuff raw with blood dripping out of it. So when I see an African say he wants his steak raw, I know he's an African out of his mind. He's learned from the Europeans. He's like what Malcolm said. When his house catch on fire, he goes, Master, our house on fire? Master, we sick. So people eat less. Try to eat 1 or 2 meals at the most. One large meal, one small meal, or snack. But basically, you just want 1 meal a day and fast at least once a week, at least once a month. Once a month, don't eat, or once a week, don't eat nothing all day. Just drink water, and you'll be in your 90s feeling really good. Dr. Tata, I'm gonna be on your show when I'm 90, and people are gonna say, "Wow, that looked like Mfundishi when he was 70."
Yes, even now that you're saying, I mean, you're like in your 45. I mean, like, I think really in the village we lived really well. Like everything that we left in the village is just the right way of life because we ate only once. But then when we started going to school and education was saying we were dying of hunger because we ate only once.
My
It was like
grandmother, my grandmother died at 106. My mother died at 96. My grandmother never went to a formal school, and she was dynamic, and because she never got the European education. My mother only went to the 3rd grade, and she was dynamic, so she never got programmed from their education. So sometimes the more we think we know of the Western world, the worse we are.
fufu, fufu, fufu at night. Anyway, that's also one one for the road, and we truly appreciate your time. Thank you so very much,
Thank
King.
you.
And like you just, I mean, I just still have to acknowledge like people that we thought were gone are still here. We're saying the King is speaking, and Batman Matanyani is watching us from St. Petersburg in Russia.
Oh wow, Dua
Imagine.
in Russia.
Imagine, like, I mean, I'm telling you, this school right here, I'm like, say it, bring it out. Yes. This is about the eating. And we will do that. We will do that. Yes. Thank you so very much. Just one good thing, and we're out of it. And that's the Jenga. That's the Yekna that we're becoming right now. And not, we learn from the best. Thank you so very much. And we are going to see us in the Chi. For those of you who are living around just him and don't know how to get to him, he's in the 120th Street, Harlem. Am I correct?
Right, 125th Street in Harlem on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays from 12 to 6, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. In between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Boulevard, 120 West, 125th Street. So I'm there with
Okay.
crystals, gemstones, and books. So if they want my book, Menchu Hotep, Spiritual Warriors are Healers. Uh, I also have flashcards if people want to learn the Medu Necha. I have flashcards we've created. We believe that anything that you need to be able to develop it and create it. So we created our own books, our own flashcards, our own. My daughter has a booth almost right next to me. She's written 3 or 4 books of herself. I'm so proud of her. So you got to practice what you preach. And remember, we come to share. We are all visitors here. We come to learn, to share, to love, to protect all we love, to perfect your earthly gift, and then give it back to the world. And then you return home.
Ashe. Wait, I still have to. Yes. Dr. Peter was asking, ask Elder if he's taking Cash App now for payment or only
Yes,
still in cash.
yes.
You accept Cash
I
App?
take Cash App. My Cash App is Jhutyms 005. JHUTYMS 005.
And of course, we on Pan African Daily, we also accept Cash App, and our Cash App number would be coming in the next series here. So thank you so very much, all of you. If you're here for the first time, consider subscribing. Of course, we are almost getting to 200,000 on Pan African Daily TV. And if we were just like the European setup, we would have been running and posting posts and doing things to climb up. We should have been in a million and something, but we are just natural, original, and even our 200,000 subscribers are so okay because it's the root, it's the origins. We're not forcing anything. They're not fakes. They are nothing. So we truly appreciate, but for us to share knowledge and to continue to connect and reach our people and to invite them to Chi, please subscribe and of course support us. Join our membership so we can continue to host ourselves and to support the happy economic system. Thank you so very much for being here. And we're going to close all of us. Elder already blessed us, and that's just not reading. We'll just say bye, I share to all of you for coming. Good night. Yes, Hotep.
Pan-African Daily TV, the voice of the stone, the wind is sea. Dr. Susan Tatah, hold the line. Truth don't whisper, truth define. Live, live, live. Pan-African Daily, we are live. The wisdom, the voice, the fire we bring. Building the Africa, that's the thing. Who walks in front? We do. Whose story is this? It's true. From the cave to the cloud, from the soil to the star. Pan-African Daily, here we are. They sold the narrative, we bought it back. Changambaya on the counter attack. No filter, no fear, no foreign frame. Africa speaking our own name. Susan Tatah, holding mic. The past is present, the future's like this. Pan-African Daily TV. The truth, the voice, the way.